Hello, hello.
Darkness, my old friend.
You're listening to Nearly Informed.
What's up? My name is Brad Nolan. In the studio with me is my unforgettable, my incomparable co-host, Brian Moote.
That's right. And we're both in the studio and in the doghouse at the same time.
That's true.
Damn!
Winning already for this
Is
week.
Mercury in retrograde? I think it's in
Always.
retrograde.
It's always in retrograde when you need it to be.
I always can tell it's going to be one of those days. Like, I can tell by the length of the text messages from my girlfriend about, like, whether or not I'm going to be in trouble that day. Like, if I look at my phone right now, I can tell you that. And I don't know if Nikki's the same way. But we'll talk about why Brad just got in trouble, and it's the same reason I got in trouble. But I was worse in my situation than you were.
Right.
And when she called back, I panicked a little bit. I was like, oh, God. And I didn't want to answer. We've all been there, right?
While you're looking through your thing really quick, I'll just tell mine. So we were sitting in the studio, and we're about to do the podcast, and Brian comes in, and I'm FaceTiming with my wife and daughter who are out of town right now. And we have this thing, we never say bye. We never say bye.
I don't get that.
We only say, okay, I love you too, and then you hang up. Right? There's never a bye.
Oh, okay. Why? Just is it like superstition? Like
I don't know.
saying
It's
goodbye?
a Nikki's family thing, and I just respect it.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, I understand from kind of a superstition, and maybe not, but just like a traditional thing, like don't say goodbye because I'll see you again. Like it's not
exactly.
goodbye.
Yeah, and in my family we have a weird thing like that too. You never leave or end a call mad.
Well, in your family, you have a thing where your dad just leaves and never comes back.
Right.
Like in your family should have the don't say goodbye thing because they mean it. Goodbye. Wait, you're coming back, right? Nope, this is it. See ya.
Going out for a pack of smokes. See you never.
Sorry to laugh at that, but I have to.
No, we have to, or we never heal.
Or I'm gonna lose it.
But we never hang up the phone or leave a location angry because my mom did that to her brother, and he literally got into a car accident and died.
See?
So
that can happen.
Exactly. So my family has a history of saying goodbye and then never.
No, they mean
back.
it. Her brother meant it. He's as sad as it is. Her brother meant it. Here's the thing. I am the same way. I don't like to be in an argument and not be getting resolution with it.
Yeah, you can't go to sleep mad type thing.
Here's the thing. She can. And that's enraging. And she knows that about me, that I need closure and she needs space. And that's a really rough thing to deal with because I'm going through the 7 levels of we've broken up, I've moved on, I'm back, I'm sad. And I'm on one drive home from the studio where I haven't heard back from her in 25 minutes. And I saw she read the text, right?
Right.
So I have like this weird... And I think it's because of the long distance. I've done long distance with most relationships I've been in because of touring and stuff. Where in my world it's like we have to fix this now.
Yeah,
she's like I just need to be mad.
No,
she said that to me today. She goes, I just need to be annoyed with you for a little bit.
Okay. And
here's exactly where I knew I was in trouble. Oh, so wait, let's finish yours.
Yeah. So we're on FaceTime and Brian comes in, so we got to start the show. And I was like, she's like, love you. I was like, I love you. And then I immediately hit the thing. But as soon as I hit the hang up button, I was like, she's about to call back because it wasn't right. Like the way it panned out. And she calls back immediately.
Goes, oh, hell no.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't really get it. She was talking about it on the show and then hung up. She wanted to hang up. Here's exactly when I knew I was in trouble today. For whatever reason. For just because she needs the space. My girlfriend needs the space to just be irritated with me and with life and with things and with long distance. She just needs to be irritated. And I can't have that. I wake up every day in a pretty friggin' good mood. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel I don't know what it's like to be a woman where your chemistry can be all wonky, Mercury can be spinning sideways or whatever, and you just wake up feeling irritated with people.
Right. I will tell you, it's not just a woman thing. Ask my wife. There are plenty of days where I wake up and she goes, "How are we today?"
Well, Brad, to be fair, you're kind of a bitchy guy.
Right. Yeah. No, I do. I
mean that in the nicest way.
Yeah. I have mental health issues.
Well, I didn't mean it like that.
No, I'm kidding.
It sounds like I insulted you for having mental health issues. All right, so I get a text. I text this morning. Well, one, I sent her a Bitmoji this morning that says "Love ya heaps," and it's like my little guy.
That's a good one. I'm
cartoon
seeing
guy.
that. That's a good. He's got a little Seahawks gear on. That's a good one.
Football season. He's got Seahawks gear on,
Okay.
and he's carrying a shovel full of hearts, and it's like "Love ya heaps." And then she wrote back, "Good morning," with an exclamation point. And I'm like, okay, not sure if I'm in trouble yet. I mean, that's a good morning thing.
But
then
she didn't say "love you heaps" back.
No. So there was the irritation brewing.
Right.
It was just a good morning thing. Okay. Then I wrote back, that how's your day going? Our week's gonna be kind of wild and on radio because we got people in and out of the studio and whatnot. And then she wrote why, and I wrote like, well, one of our hosts is in New York all week. We got another host who's dealing with some health stuff with his mother. So it's kind of like, it could be a wild week. She wrote back, and this is exactly when I knew something was up. Oh, yikes. All right.
Well, yeah. And then also last week was a bit of a wild week. So she's like, I'm done with your wild weeks, bro.
Exactly. Oh, yikes.
Yeah.
But here's where I got in trouble, where I got the call back. And I was like, oh, man. You blew it. But I was kind of, okay, so it happened, and I was kind of proud of myself. So what happened is I called her, and I was like, hey, what the hell's going on? Like, I don't like this. You're being short. Our conversation didn't go well. You told me you were irritated with, long distance. And she's got her company holiday party today, which initially I had been maybe trying to hatch out a way to be remote from Atlanta in Los Angeles, which just wasn't going to work given the things we were talking about.
Yeah,
one person in New York
going on in
already.
the show. Yeah,
health problems with family and stuff. So that had to be scrapped. But it's still a holiday party where everyone's going with their significant others and things. So I will give her the space to be annoyed with that.
Right.
So I call, and she's just being irritated with me, right? And she flat out told me, I love my girlfriend. She is super honest. She said, I'm just going to be irritated with you all day. Oh, I was like, with me? The hell did I do?
What did I do? And then you and I both do this. Did you turn into kind of like a bitchy dude? You're like, what do you mean?
I'm like, we need to. No,
babe.
I think I threw out the word communication. I was really just like, come on, dude. I was like, in my head, I was like, what are you trying to Dr. Phil right now? You can't. When someone is I know this, and I knew this already. When someone's annoyed with you, they're annoyed by every single thing you do.
Oh,
and that's the
little thing.
She needs the space to be annoyed with me in peace and quiet. Okay, but when I try to Dr. Phil this bitch, it's like it just everything is like I'm like, come on, what's the problem? We gotta communicate. What's happening here is a lack of communication.
And she's like, no, too much communication.
I hate you. Hang up. So she was just being frustrated with me, and I was on a headset, and I was like, fine, I love you, bye. And then I was like, a-hole. I said that under my breath, but my phone was still calling. And I remember going, damn, that was pretty close to the hang up. Like
probably pre-hang up.
Yeah, that was could have been. I wasn't sure. Okay. So I'm walking into the gym and I'm like, I do the scan, check in on my phone on this the app that my gym has. Do the scan and I'm like, and it's still in my head. I was like, man. But then I was like, you know what? Whatever, dude. If she heard it, that's how she was acting right now.
Yeah, I was just being real.
That's how she was acting. It's lack of you're not communicating what you really think.
Therefore, you're an a-hole.
Right. So then she calls me back, and I'm like, Paul, what are the odds this isn't about that? Yeah. So then I just tried to, I answered it like such a tool. I was like, hey, what's up? Just all completely trying to pretend.
Oblivious to the whole previous conversation.
I try to act like I'm a computer and someone has unplugged me and plugged me back in. I'm like, reboot. I don't know what's going on. And she was like, did you just, she's like, don't call me name. I'm like, sorry, I was supposed to be under my breath. It was just... She's like, you don't just do that. I'm like,
is that really what you said?
Yeah.
I didn't mean to say it out loud.
Supposed to be. It's under my breath because you were just kind of being mean. You were upset with me. I get you're upset. And then we kind of had enough of a resolution where I was like, okay. She's like, listen, I'm irritated today and I just need to be irritated. I was like, okay, fine. We could go our separate ways. And we hung up and I was like, whew, that was a close call.
And because you double check to make sure that you were all the way hung up and you're
yes,
like, a-hole.
No, dude, I'm not even kidding you. I haven't felt that afraid when I saw someone call on the phone since when you're in trouble with your parents, back in high school, and you're like, oh, here we go.
You're at the friend's house that you said you weren't at.
Yeah. Oh, God. Of course I'm in trouble. So there we go, Brad. We're both in trouble for hanging out.
Kicking off the show in the doghouse personally, but professionally we're at a 9. I think
9.5. Crushing it. Absolutely crushing it.
Speaking of plans and things like that for the show, do we have them planned today or no?
We do. We're going to talk about Brett Favre, quarterback from the former quarterback, Hall of Famer, football player. Finally, I love it when famous people have moments where they're old and you see it on technology. And also just other random stories that I found and pulled, but I'm looking at my sheet right now.
And I have a very funny technology thing that happened to me, or that I heard happened to somebody else this morning. So we'll do Favre next. Yeah?
Steal their story. That's good.
Okay.
This is Nearly Informed with Brad and Brian.
You always got to wait for the drop in the music.
It's pretty good, dude.
It sounds so much better now with this new stuff.
We sound like cool and hip. It's not just, like this is like something Primus would play.
Right.
Like, are they still cool?
I don't know.
Are they even alive?
I don't think so.
Boy, I hope they are, because if they aren't alive, then I just kind of killed them off for no reason.
Speaking of old people,
Primus is dead.
My name is Brad. That's Brian, and we have a Favre situation.
Well, quarterback Brett Favre, so he played for the Packers. I mean, everyone knows Brett Favre, right? That's not just a sports reference.
No, that's one of the rare times I'll allow somebody to say everyone.
Wrangler jeans.
Yeah.
The U-shaped. You don't want that V-shape riding up on your junk. You got that U-shaped jeans. He also was he really dodged the front end of the Me Too movement. Like, he really ducked that because he got in trouble for sending Jennifer Sturger, who is a comedian actually now, very funny. And she was a reporter for the New York Jets when he went to the Jets and was harassing her with junk shots.
Oh, I do remember that.
And
yeah.
And the worst part about this for junk shots, now it's
Who wants those?
terrible for a couple reasons. Nobody. But also don't be sending a 22-year-old sideline reporter junk shots. You're a 39-year-old man who's married. Just stop harassing. Stop harassing a young girl that you have power over. Whether you know it or not, when you're the quarterback for the New York Jets, harassing a sideline reporter, you are abusing your power.
I also think that's interesting, people who go, oh, well, I wasn't in a power position. You know you are.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
Oh, yeah, ask her if it was. That's the same with the Louis C.K. stuff. Where Louis I didn't know I had. Yeah, you did. You can say you didn't now, but you were using your position of power for a long time to do things and have a woman there's no way, let's put it this way. There's no way just 22-year-old Brett Favre who doesn't play football is sending junk shots, or 39-year-old Brett Favre to a 22-year-old sideline reporter. You just don't get that. You don't have that power discrepancy.
Right.
So that was the first time he actually really dodged that, because that was before this whole thing kind of campaign really kind of took legs and women started to feel empowered to say, hey, man, no, that's messed up. And the NFL didn't really do anything because Brett Favre's a star.
Yeah, and the NFL is one of those organizations that likes to just sweep stuff as long as possible.
Yeah, of course, especially if you're going to make money. Now, listen, if Brett Favre was just some rando backup running back or something, they're bye, see ya, you're in big trouble. So, and what's funny is there's this app called Cameo. That's what he's in trouble for, is Cameo. He did a Cameo shout out on this app that ended up being anti-Semitic and a shout out to basically the Proud Boys or whatever.
So this app allows people to go on and
pay for a
shout out.
A video shout out, yeah.
And then okay, cool.
And I think he owns stake in the company, which is the only reason why it makes sense he's on there. Because I've gotten emails from Cameo.
Yeah.
And you set your own price. And there are hundreds of comedians, actors, whatever on there.
Yeah, just trying to make a quick buck. And most of them are not A-level celebrities,
God, no.
Favre level.
Well, one, if you're Kevin Hart, you don't need to go on Cameo for a shout out. You'd probably just get more value out of the shout out if someone on Twitter is hey man, it's my son's 3rd birthday, if you could give him a shout, and he just tapes a video, tweets it at him, it gets more run that way, right?
Exactly.
So Brett Favre's on this thing. They asked me, I got an email about it, to do a Cameo thing, and I was just what am I going to charge people $5? I'll just give you a shout out. and then also on the thing it said, if you pay, how long it takes to get the shout out video, which I thought was hysterical. Comedians were immediate, right? So all these crappy comedians that are just
35 seconds.
Yeah, you get it within the hour. It's PayPal, $35. What's up? I'm in Venice Beach. How's it going? Thanks for checking out my Cameo page. Like, Andy Dick is on there, and Andy Dick is like, he responds immediately. Andy Dick is just sitting around waiting for people to hit him up on this.
Now I want to just download it just to get an Andy Dick Cameo.
Wouldn't you kind of want to get it? Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Cameo, someone like Brett Favre doesn't want to put in a lot of creativity in his shout-outs, right? And also, he's terrible on camera for a guy who's been famous and in the limelight for as long as he has. He literally just kind of mumbles directly at his phone, which is ridiculous. The guy's done press interview. Like, he should be better. I mean, his Wrangler commercial's got personality. Come on, Brett. So the way he likes to do it is send me the script. I'll read it, which is probably why he looks so flat affect on it. But so what happened is for $500 you can get a Brett Favre shout out. Okay. Not anymore. That's done. I'm sure Brett Favre is not doing it right now. So what happened is this anti-Semitic YouTube group basically sent Brett Favre a very coded. It's not offensive in language; it's offensive in content, right? So it's not like I can read it right now, and it's not a violation of any FCC rules. But what it is, it basically just makes Brett Favre sound like he's an anti-Semitic dude who's like, "White power, let's ride."
Okay.
Right? So,
do you have the copy?
Yeah, I'm gonna read it. Okay. This is what he said. It goes, Brett Favre here with a shout out to the Handsome Truth and the GDL boys. You guys are patriots in my eyes, so keep waking them up and don't let them small get you down. Keep fighting, too, and never forget the USS Liberty and the men and women who died on that day. God bless and take care. Now, the GDL is an anti-Semitic group, and small hats refers to yarmulkes.
Yeah.
Don't let the small hats get you down. But Brett Favre had no clue. None. Zero clue. And I love,
and he's basically in this thing. Like if okay, it's a script and everything, but now you see Brett Favre encouraging them to fight the good fight.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So now they just have video copy and content.
Oh my gosh,
of Brett
the
Favre
propaganda machine.
And it doesn't say Brett Favre with Cameo app. It says Brett Favre here to give a shout out to the GDL boys. Like, ridiculous, right? But what I love about it is watching Brett Favre come to the realization, like, oh my God, I can be exploited on this. I was just literally Ron Burgundy.
Right.
Shout out to the GDL boys. Don't let his smallheads get you down. Go F yourself, San Diego. Like, you watch, like, his only defense is basically, hey guys, I'm old, I'm out of touch, I have no idea, like, what these references are, and I'm just an old guy who just never thought that someone would take this and spin it and go viral with it for, like, a terrible cause, which is exactly what, like, this group probably inspired 50 other groups of every type of thing. Like, dude, I was close to being like, let's get a shout out for AMP Radio. Let's get a shout out for Nearly Informed. Let's get a let's get a shout out for us from Brett Favre. If just
we should look into that. But B,
I don't think it's going to be able to do it
well,
anymore.
Not from him, but Andy
like,
Dick's
nearly informed. I am not nearly informed on what that means. I will not be doing it.
Yeah. The thing that sucks about it is it's going to make a bunch of news, right? And everyone's going to be like, "Oh, poor Brett Favre." But then 5-6 years down the road, there's still a video of Brett Favre
forever,
and nobody is going to have the context after that.
I mean, he sold. The thing is, you're selling the rights to that video,
right? Of
whatever you said, of whatever content.
That's what the payment is.
And I also think it kind of harkens back to the idea that I think we're all wildly unprepared for how content that we keep creating, like content, how it can be edited and posted once we put it out on a public forum, right? Like, I think that I've become more cognizant of that in the last 5 to 6 years. But, I've looked back at my Twitter and been like, I was tweeting to nobody. Like, why the hell did I even start Twitter? Well, like, how did I have the fortitude to just stick it out when I had no followers?
I mean, you say that, it's funny because even when you do things that you think legitimately are solid, right? Like, you can even vet them as solid things. So, like, Bill O'Reilly wrote a book, right, a long time ago. And, I mean, the Howard Stern crew took that thing. When his Me Too thing came out, Howard Stern took that book and tore it apart and created a whole new book about him doing weird things to people just from his own. So it's
just
now
like they just edited, redacted parts of it to make it more accurate.
And so it's Bill O'Reilly basically saying the most insane stuff from his audiobook. And so it's like you're never going to be safe from that.
I mean, I'd love to be like, yeah, we could do that to Howard. He'd be like, yeah, but Howard would like go, yeah, I actually, you know what? Thanks for making that exactly what I wanted to say.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't say that. I wanted, for some reason.
It would have been cooler if I said it that way.
That's an amazing career that Howard Stern's had in numerous reasons. I mean, one, he's like the king of media, whatever. radio.
Self-proclaimed fell off pretty quick on that.
I mean, self-proclaimed nicknames are the worst anyway.
Yeah, but when you self-proclaim it and then like 18 months later, everyone's like, no, he's just actually the king of all media.
Right.
It's
Well,
like,
if you look at it, like he has had so many moments that were so god awful, and like we talk about the Me Too stuff, so just degrading and misogynistic, and yet still somehow hosts America's Got Talent or judges America's Got Talent. Like how does he get a platform sitting next to Howie Mandel and Scary Spice and frigging what's that actor, that model's name? I thought it was Tom Brady's wife, but it's not. It's
yeah, that one.
Whatever. How is he sitting up? Heidi Klum.
Yeah.
How is he sitting up there after all the stuff he's done?
Here's why. And I'll tell you, I know the answer to this question.
Okay, Brad, lay it on me.
He's not actually a dirtbag. And everyone on the planet knows he did that stuff for the attention, not for because he's actually a creep. Because almost every time, if you actually go back and listen, he does these things, and then he basically just spends the next week apologizing for how terrible and disgusting his show is. Like, he's like, I just really feel bad about that. And then also, he paid those girls a lot of money.
That's not an excuse,
Oh, okay,
Brad.
okay.
But I do kind of love the idea that we can just apologize. Be like, yo, it was just a publicity stunt. I'm not actually a racist creep.
Right. You're right. He's the only one we've ever accepted an apology from.
I apologize for saying it publicly. I usually just send those videos to my friends, not the actual group. All right, coming up next, Brad is old. We're going to hear about it. Maybe. Are you old? Didn't you have an old story? Old guy story?
Yeah. No, well, no, it's just something I heard in the hallway that was hilarious, but it's good enough.
Hallway talk.
Yeah, hallway talk.
Find Nearly Informed on Instagram and Twitter at Nearly Informed.
All right, what's up? My name is Brad Nolan, at Brad Nolan on the social medias.
Hey, yo, I'm Brian Moote, Moote Comedy. I'm only going to promote Instagram from here on out. I've given up on Twitter.
Who cares about Twitter?
I mean, here's the thing with Twitter.
I get extra righteous on Twitter.
I get a little bit more opinionated on Twitter. I'm not gonna lie. I've been guilty of tweeting while intoxicated and really firing off some hot takes. And the next day, thought maybe I should take those down, just because I don't want to have them come back to bite me in the A later. But here's the other thing about Twitter, the why I've kind of given up, is I'll have one of the greatest tweets ever, like joke-wise, structure's amazing, and it just doesn't get the love that I feel it deserves. So I'm out, man. And I know, because Instagram, I can just cheat the system and put up pictures of my adorable golden doodle that my girlfriend and I have, Leo, and he'll just crash. He'll crash my Instagram, and I'm like, oh, they still like me. I'm going to be Ron Burgundy all day now.
This is how I am on Twitter. For up until September 30th, for about a year and a half, my pinned tweet on Twitter was something like, "You're not special," or something like that. Like,
it's very you, very on brand.
My current pinned tweet is.
I'll have a pinned
I should
tweet.
unpin this. So much of radio media has become, how many followers do you have? We'd be better off if we asked, how many layers do you have in your personality?
Oh, jeez, dude. Are you all right?
Yeah. I should probably unpin that, right?
I mean, it just sounds like
that was a bad day, and now I'm just holding on to it for the whole brand.
Like, I feel like you probably should be worried that not so many people, a lot of people haven't checked in on you.
Yeah.
Who follow you on Twitter.
Nobody checks in on me.
Brad, you're just left to your own devices. What conversation did you hear today in the hallway?
It was so funny. So I was coming in.
Hallway Talk. It's a new segment.
Bing, bing, bing.
Hallway Talk.
I don't have any music.
We got random. You can just push whatever.
All right, hold on.
Let's do the hallway. It's time for Hallway Talk.
Everything is awesome.
I mean, that works.
Everything is cool when you're part of a team.
Right, because in the hallway, you're part of a team. It's an office talk.
Right,
like
and
office
also it's
hallway
like
talk.
supposed to, it's kind of gives us a little bit of cover fire on human resources if they hear what we were talking about in terms of hallway talk.
Yes.
And then it's like, we weren't snitching. We were, everything is awesome. We were a team. You don't snitch on your team.
This is just such a funny thing. So we work next to a legendary morning show. Kevin and B.
K-Rock. Legendary. The world famous.
The world famous K-Rock. And Kevin and Bean, which is honestly for me, radio nerd dream come true. I've been in radio now 19 years. I'm only 31. You do the math. I have been listening to Kevin and Bean for 20 years, if not more.
I know who they are. I respect how long they've been doing it.
35 years.
I've listened to them when I'm in the coffee area.
I know. Yeah,
but
also you
I've
didn't.
listened to their podcast a couple times.
But also, yeah, but you didn't grow up in the radio space. Right?
No,
you,
no,
you
not
did.
at all.
You tried a bunch of other careers before you landed on this easy one.
And I know, yeah, this home run. I've only been at the studio now for, I don't know, 12 hours
yeah, we're
now.
pushing 12 hours.
On the nose. No, for me, I was more into, I didn't really know that there were radio shows outside of the ones I grew up listening to in Seattle. When I lived in California as in college, I walked to class.
Yeah.
Like I didn't really listen in the morning. And then I was really into heavy into burned CDs.
Yeah.
That was that was back at the height of you bought that, you could steal that.
Yeah,
Steal
right.
that on
Napster
LimeWire.
life.
Yeah.
So I was standing outside the Kevin and Bean studio, and I was just getting some coffee, and one of their producers, Beer Mug, comes up, and he's like, "Hey, listen, not to me, but to somebody else on the show. I forget her name, Christine, the shorter girl.
You know what? Don't put me on the spot there because I only know 4 people's names.
Yeah, I
in
think
this
her name's
entire station.
Christine." And he goes, "Hey, listen, Christine, I got your texts, but I just got them this morning because my phone has been crazy. Apps are missing and stuff like that." And it was I'm just in my head no, I've had this conversation before. It's complete bull, but I've had this conversation before. And then she goes, "Well, did you?" She's like, "Okay, well, that's okay. Did you do a hard reset on that?" And she starts going down it was like a moment from the IT guy in SNL.
It just turns.
Did you turn it off and turn it back on?
It turns into Charlie Brown's teacher.
Right. And you can see the look on his face was like, yeah. No, I know how to use my phone. I did a hard reset.
You know what makes me so pissed off about iPhones right now is one. As soon as a new one comes out, it's just the other one starts failing.
Mine just now. So for 3 weeks, my battery's been draining by 9 a.m. All the way to 10%.
I mean, that's insanity.
Yeah. It just now today is holding a charge for the first time.
In the studio, when we're doing, when we're doing the show, we airdrop videos to each other a lot because you get the better quality.
Yeah.
And you're right, everyone's in the room. It's hey, this is that last segment, whatever. Man, my airdrop was just not working, and my computer and my phone are halfway synced, halfway not synced.
Sometimes it works. Most of the time it doesn't.
Yeah, I've got
the way you want it to.
I've got 9 different versions of my backed up hard drive from my old laptop on my new laptop. I don't know how the cloud works. I have no godly idea how the cloud works. I don't know why I have to have 19,000 versions of my backed up hard drive on the cloud. This is how Russia gets us because they're looking at old ass versions of your it's insane.
Old insecure versions of hard drive backups they're just tapping into and waiting for you to re-upload it because you don't know what you're doing.
And I'm getting so frustrated that I can't airdrop. My phone will not airdrop. It won't turn the airdrop on. I can't find it. So then finally I'm like, oh, this is stupid. And then someone in the studio was like, did you turn your phone off and on? And I'm like, I mean, that's going to work, yeah. And it works.
Of course it did.
Why the hell did it work? That's
why it's always the first suggestion.
But that's an old person thing to do, to turn it off and turn it on. That's something my mom would pitch me to do. And I'd be like, Mom, we're past that, okay?
Never will we be past that.
This isn't the first Nintendo. I can't just blow in it, okay? Clearly my airdrop's not working because there is a malfunction in the phone, not that it just needs a break.
In 50 years, it's going to be the robots are rising against us. Have we tried turning them on and back, turning them off and back on again?
That's funny. Hey, somebody reset these robots. They're trying to murder us. That's not going to work. Oh, my God. The robots are
totally work. They're very docile again.
Have you seen the show Westworld at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be a spoiler alert guy. One, I didn't see the entire season, so I really don't know what the hell's going on.
I think I have music for this.
But
spoiler alert.
Okay, I wish I could be a spoiler alert guy, but I didn't finish
the
the season because it got too complicated.
I just wanted to play.
I just got too. I can't pay attention long enough to be able to wrap my head around Westworld. I know some of you guys agree with me on that because it just is weird. It's a weird sci-fi western where people are going and visiting an old West world and they can do whatever they want.
Yeah, the concept is great.
It's awesome, but it's just it's kind of a mixture of Groundhog's Day and Terminator.
Right. It's funny.
It just keeps
That's
starting
true
over
because it keeps starting over.
And these regenerating robots, but then they start to remember stuff, and they start to try to kill people, and they start to try to fight back in the West against humans. Just turn them back off, man.
Just turn
them
them
off.
off, turn them back
dog. Did anyone try that with the Terminators? Man, that'd be that would be a funny if you could recut the trailer for the Terminator, and when they're like the dramatic music,
Yeah.
and like in the year 2048, which is funny because that's not even that far away. In the year 2048, one man, John Connor, can save. Oh, and also Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't know how the trailer goes. And what if Arnold was like, just plug them in.
Right.
Hit the hard reset on the robots. Man, you know what's funny? People for having Arnold Schwarzenegger impressions. Man, I wish I had one.
Yeah.
Besides, get in the chopper.
That's the one everybody has, right?
He even does it.
What did I do this morning? Oh, this morning I was trying to be like that comedian, me here now.
Okay.
And you're like Christopher Walken. I was like, that guy.
I need more cowbell.
Yeah.
There's not enough cowbell in this, Brad. I just need more cowbell.
All right. One more segment until you guys can be set free here.
Me? Are you talking to me or
No,
you
I'm talking to anyone who's listening.
you were talking to me, and I need to be set
No,
free.
we have more work to do.
That's right.
After this.
This is Nearly Informed with Brad and Brian.
It was apparently I'm a stutterer now.
More cowbell.
Wow, I was thinking, do we put our last names in the imaging? And I landed on no, I guess.
I mean, it seems kind of innocuous.
Yeah.
Just like over the top.
I mean,
also, like if you're listening to this, you know our last name.
Right. And for search engine purposes, I put it in the podcast description.
The SEO optimization.
Have you been reading those?
What?
Those podcast descriptions?
No, Brad. You could.
I think the last one was like, we really need to hire somebody to write these podcast descriptions. That's what the last one
I actually
said.
kind of like the honesty in that. Here I got a couple of fun things to talk about.
Okay, cool. Do we do a rapid fire thing? A couple of fun things?
Well,
Or just one?
I mean, ideally, yes. But one thing can turn, I have some ideas to talk about that could be rapid fire. But clearly, as we already started this, we're a minute into a rapid fire segment, which we are not doing rapid fire on.
Okay.
I found this interesting because I saw this weekend that George H.W. Bush died,
Dad.
right? Yeah, George Bush Sr. He passed away on Saturday at 94 years old. Mm-hmm. He's had some health issues for a while.
About a decade.
Yeah, Barbara Bush passed away, like 6 months ago?
That was longer than that. But yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm fairly certain she did because she told Trump, like, hey, don't come to my funeral. Right? Yeah. And also, I guess it's traditional that presidents don't go to the first lady funerals because of the security cluster that it causes.
Yep.
So people were giving Trump a lot of crap for that, and I'm like, y'all just look at it. Like, traditionally, they won't because of the fact that it takes all the focal point off the person. And also, like, George Bush Sr. is going to have numerous services. You know, there'll be a service at in the government,
and then every year after that.
Here's the funny thing, though. Interesting thing. I don't say funny. It's not funny, but interesting to me was that, like, I really didn't think anyone would care because of. But and I mean that in a way that I saw the alert on my phone, and I was almost annoyed at my phone, like, what do I care?
Why are you telling me?
This
Don't you know me, phone?
It took me a second to be like, that was his wife. But then I felt like super cold. I was like, ugh, Brian, you should care. I mean, you should care if anyone dies who served our country in numerous ways. He was in the Navy, like president, I think various levels of government. I'm not exactly sure.
He birthed another president and then half of one?
Dude, he had governor.
Yeah.
There could be a Bush kicking around, makes a run.
There is, I'm sure.
There's got to be a Bush.
Well, Jeb's son, Jorge. That's not a joke.
Oh,
Jeb's
really?
His name is Jorge.
I love that he named his son Jorge. I just think you can't be president named Jeb. Sorry, dude.
Yeah.
I don't even know how. I mean, Jeb Bush overcame a lot for the Jebs. Like, there's never going to be a more famous Jeb.
Right.
Like, he's going to be the most. When was the last time anyone?
Funny.
He might be the last Jeb.
Yeah, he might.
Like, that's his real name is Jeb,
No.
and he went by Jeb
I don't
and
know
won.
if it is.
Hey, I'm going to Google it real quick.
His name's probably like John
Edward
Bush, and they just call him Jeb.
That's not even close to true. His name is
Jonathan
Jeb.
Edward Bush.
His name is Jeb Bush. But I think that's funny that I was sitting there going like, what the, like, why would I?
About George H.?
Well, why would I care?
Yeah.
They went to my phone. I was like, why would I care? And then my girlfriend was like, yeah, it's crazy that he died and all this. And I was like, is it? But I mean, he's an old guy, president. And then I realized my bias is that I wasn't really aware of politics when he was
I was going to
president.
say, anyone who's an ounce older than us he changed the course of a lot of stuff for people.
All right. His name is John Ellis Bush, by the way. Why would you go by Jeb then, man? The hell's your problem?
Because I'm a man. I'm a man of the people.
Now I think he's even dumber for that. Why would you go by Jeb? I'm just a good old boy named Jeb running for governor in Florida. Hanging chads, hanging schmads. I'm Jeb. That's going in the Wayback Machine for politics.
Back to Bush Gore.
That's right. That's back when people were inventing the internet, man.
Yeah, I think the thing about H.W. Bush, is that he was just before our time. I mean, we started paying attention probably with Clinton, right?
That was exactly what I remember.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you. The first president I remember caring about is Bill Clinton. And it's for a dumb reason.
Yeah, it's for the dress in the situation in the office.
No, it's for yeah, like blowies in the office.
Yeah,
a big fan of that. That's the only reason why I think interns are cool. No, it's because I grew up in Clinton, Washington.
Right.
And he was George Clinton or Bill Clinton. Oh, George Clinton would be a way better president than the P-Funk All-Stars. He's like, I can't narrow it down, so my vice president is all the P-Funk All-Stars.
Right.
So I remember for a fact, and this is like old school stuff, but back in the day when baseball cards were a thing and the internet wasn't, you used to look up the value of your baseball cards, you had to get a Beckett.
Yeah, I have one.
Right.
I literally just found one I was searching through. I just also found a whole thing of baseball cards from my childhood.
Oh man, I feel like oh man, those got to be worth money, but the internet
not.
exists. They're
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
It's all trash.
Yeah, damn it.
But we had baseball, basketball. You could look up every sport, and in the Beckett in 2000, when did Bill Clinton win the first race? He was 1994, 92. 92, 96, 2000 was he was 92 to 2000, and then Bush Jr. was 2000, 2008.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had Obama from 08 to 2016, and now we got the Trumpster.
Yeah.
Boy, what an evolution.
To be determined.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? You know what's funny about people saying Trump getting reelected in 2020? I have no idea. Like, I don't have
Here's the thing. I have no doubt
that he
probably will.
I mean, dude, listen, I'm a liberal Democrat, but I am a fiscal conservative.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we need to hold social services and people who get money from the government more accountable to show the value out of every dollar. So if that makes me a conservative fiscally, I'm all about it, but I am a liberal when it comes to like social programs and things. But what I would say is I didn't think he had a shot the first time.
Yeah.
Like I thought he had a snowball's chance in HE double toothpicks.
Well, here's the thing. Incumbency is a real thing. The power of being an incumbent is a real thing.
Dude, he's on a world tour relentlessly raising money. He's raised more money right now for his reelection. Like I think it's like close to over $20 million than everyone combined, all the presidents combined for like some certain number of decades for their reelection campaign.
I mean, part of that just it costs more now, but the other side of
dude, the guy can raise money.
Yeah.
The guy
who knows if he wins or not.
So I remember I had a Beckett in 1992. And I was like a third grader. And in that they had all the presidential candidates in the primaries. Like 16 of them on each, like every party. They had a baseball card for each one of them.
Oh, that's funny.
And I found Bill Clinton's, and I was like, this guy right here, man.
This is the one.
Clinton,
The
Washington.
saxophone playing mother.
And I was so young that I was like, Clinton, Washington, man. He's probably from here. It's probably named after him. And my parents were just like, oh, this little 5-year-old or this 7-year-old doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. But then I remember when he won, I did a victory lap around our house solely because I lived in Clinton, Washington. And I thought for
no
some
concept of the politics.
dude, no, I didn't care. I didn't know there was a difference. I thought that it was going to mean something for our town. Where they were going to be like, Clinton, Washington. Like, I was fully expecting to get off the Mukilteo Clinton ferry on Whidbey Island, Washington, and see, welcome to Whidbey Island. Hey, Clinton, like the president. Not his hometown. I wasn't born here, but it's like, you know.
Yeah,
Get it? You like state of Washington?
Here's
Clinton.
Do you have a favorite president? Like in the history of presidents?
You know, man, I wasn't really into presidential politics.
Yeah,
I've always been into like social justice.
Yeah.
So I have like favorite advocates and social. Like I loved the like I know it sounds cliche, but like Dr. Martin Luther King. I love that. I love following the civil rights movement in terms of even the players that are still in the mix. Like John Lewis from Atlanta. a senator from Atlanta, was like arrested with Dr. King. And then
Yeah.
living in the South, I was fascinated by that. I'm also fascinated by just like the Revolution, Civil War.
Yeah, I was gonna say I like to go back a little bit further, like Black Reconstruction, post Lincoln, that whole era. I'm really heady about. Like I get all into that.
Oh,
like
man,
how this country completely screwed itself into being racist forever.
Yo, I mean that Reconstruction and that is crazy. And after living in the South, because it was such a foreign concept to me in Washington,
Right.
You know, like the other side of the country, I was like, whoa, the Reconstruction, the South, that's so far away. And then when I lived there, I was like, wow, that must have been an insane change for everyone. Like if you were a black person in the South and you're no longer enslaved. Like, fantastic. You can live your life as a free human being, as you should have been.
Kind of.
Without the, kind of,
Yeah.
for sure, not like systemic, but that's,
Right.
what I'm saying is, just that entire switch down
Well,
there.
and that's the thing. Is like in South Carolina, there was a whole, right after that happened, there was a whole political, basically the senators and representatives and everything were black. And then there was a reverse of all that.
Really?
It's crazy. It was like the most progressive moment in time that got squashed. And just to boil it down, it was poor white people not wanting to align interests with poor black people, even though they had the same exact interests, because they were black. So they're like, oh, no, we're with the rich white guy. What are you talking about? And so they started voting against themselves, basically, against their own interests.
Right. I think a lot of that still happens today.
Yeah, absolutely. It still happens today. Every
It's like identity. I want to identify with this person.
Yeah.
Like, I think that is an interesting part. Like, not to get political, not even more so, whatever.
Yeah.
This is historical. But if you look at, like, a lot of people who love Donald Trump, right, they wouldn't relate to him for 1 second in real life. Like, this dude is a billionaire from New York who has had businesses rise, fall, fail, been on TV. Like, you and him have nothing in common.
Right, and how do
Ever.
you stomach cashing that Social Security check as a conservative?
I mean,
How do you stomach that?
I'll
That's
tell you
my
how, I'll tell you
question.
how you do it. Dollar bills, Brad. When you get that money,
But I mean, how do you not immediately go, "Oh, the government's helping me. Maybe I should think differently."
well, I mean, you can rationalize anything. Like you say, like, yeah, but I helped myself because I worked.
Yeah.
Which, dude, to be honest, I don't really want to work anymore. So if you gave me a free check, at this point, yo, I'm pro social services. Please, somebody help me. Tired of getting up at 4:45.
I know we were supposed to
painful.
get someplace with this show, but I think that's going to do it. You good?
Yeah, man, I just wanted to talk about my favorite president because I was a little kid and I thought Clinton was cool. And if I would have grown up if I would have lived in Trump Tower as a 12-year-old, I would have been like, that's my guy.
This is Nearly Informed. If you like this show, find it on the radio.com app and subscribe.
At Farmers Insurance, we know there's a crucial difference between a kick drum pedal and your car's accelerator pedal. Because we covered it. Click for more.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.